Gigafinity. Terafinity. Petafinity. Exafinity. Zettafinity. Yottafinity. Rafinity. Quintafinity. Zetafinity. Quadrufinity.
Absolutely, pi is everything.
Absolutely kills at everything. Absolutely kills at everything. Absolutely cures ultra everything.
Absolute infinity pyre. Absolutely infinity pyre. Absolutely everything pyre. Absolute everything possible pyre.
Absolute X pyre. Absolute double X pyre. Absolute X super pyre. Absolute X ultra pyre. Absolute X giga pyre. Absolute X zero pyre. Absolute X theta pyre. Absolute X extra pyre. Absolute X zeta pyre. Absolute X Google pyre. Absolute X yada pyre. Absolute X infinity pyre. Absolute X absolute infinity pyre. Absolute X absolutely everything pyre. Absolute always X pyre. Absolute X every double pyre.
Capital P pyre. Double capital P pyre.
Megapyre. Gigapyre. Terapyre. Petapyre. Hexapyre. Zetapyre. Yadapyre.
Our affinity pyre.
Ultimate infinity cure. Absolute sinus studio function file. Profinity 4. Masterfinity file.
Infinity pyre.
Infinity pyre. Forcefinity pyre. Absolute super duper pyre. Absolute ultimate infinity pyre.
Absolute yin yang.
Spinner's pyre.
Absolute always infinity pure.
Cantafinity. Cantafinity square. Cantafinity power sex pyre. Cantafinity power octo pyre. Cantafinity power absolute impossible. Cantafinity power absolute spicy pepper. Cantafinity power absolute spinner. Cantafinity power absolute mushroom. Cantafinity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Cantafinity Q. Cantafinity double Q. Cantafinity super Q. Cantafinity power absolute mushroom. Cantafinity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Cantafinity Q. Cantafinity double Q. Cantafinity super Q. Cantafinity power octo pyre. Cantafinity power absolute impossible. Cantafinity power absolute spicy pepper. Cantafinity power absolute spinner. Cantafinity power absolute mushroom. Cantafinity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Cantafinity Q. Cantafinity double Q. Cantafinity super pyre. Cantafinity power octo pyre. Cantafinity power absolute impossible. Cantafinity power absolute spicy pepper. Cantafinity power absolute spinner. Cantafinity power absolute mushroom. Cantafinity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Cantafinity Q. Cantafinity double Q. Cantafinity super Q.
Chickenfinity. Chickenfinity square. Chickenfinity power sex pile. Chickenfinity power octo pile. Chickenfinity power absolute impossible. Chickenfinity power absolute spicy pepper. Chickenfinity spicy pepper. Chickenfinity power absolute spinner. Chickenfinity power absolute mushroom. Chickenfinity power cantafinity. Chickenfinity Q. Chickenfinity double Q. Chickenfinity super Q.
Opportunity. Opportunity square. Opportunity power sex power. Opportunity power octo power. Opportunity power absolute impossible. Opportunity power absolute spicy pepper. Opportunity power absolute spinner. Opportunity power absolute mushroom. Opportunity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Opportunity power opportunity. Opportunity Q. Opportunity double Q. Opportunity super Q.
Absolute super duper catfinity. Absolute super duper catfinity square. Absolute super duper catfinity power sex cow. Absolute super duper catfinity power octo cow. Absolute super duper catfinity power absolute impossible. Absolute super duper catfinity power absolute spicy pepper. Absolute super duper catfinity power absolute spinner. Absolute super duper catfinity power absolute mushroom. Absolute super duper catfinity power absolute super duper evil bravo. Absolute super duper catfinity power chickenfinity. Absolute super duper catfinity power hopperfinity. Absolute super duper catfinity. Absolute super duper catfinity. Absolute super duper catfinity.
Absolute Video Infinity Power Moose Infinity. Absolute Video Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Absolute Video Infinity Power Chich Infinity. Absolute Video Infinity Power Poke Infinity. Absolute Video Infinity Power Absolute Super Duper Cat Infinity. Absolute Video Infinity Cube. Absolute Video Infinity Dual Cubes. Absolute Video Infinity Super Cubes. Green Shackfoot Infinity. Green Shackfoot Infinity Square. Green Shackfoot Infinity Power Absolute Imposable. Green Shackfoot Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Green Shackfoot Infinity Power Candy Infinity Power Absolute Killed Me. Green Shackfoot Infinity Power Chisk Infinity. Green Shackfoot Infinity Power Absolute Super Duper Cat Infinity. Green Shackfoot Infinity Double Cubes. Green Shackfoot Infinity Double Cubes. Green Shackfoot Infinity Super Cubes.
Apple Redifone Infinity.
Apple Redifone Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Apple Redifone Infinity Power Chisk Infinity. Apple Redifone Infinity Power Poke Infinity. Apple Redifone Infinity Power Poke Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Apple Redifone Infinity Power Absolute Super Duper Cat Infinity. Apple Redifone Infinity Cube. Apple Redifone Infinity Double Cubes. Apple Redifone Infinity Super Cubes. Green Photor Infinity. Green Photor Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Green Photor Infinity Power Absolute Super Duper Cat Infinity. Green Photor Infinity Cube. Green Photor Infinity Double Cubes. Green Photor Infinity Super Cubes.
Apple Infinity. Apple Infinity Power Candy Infinity. Apple Infinity Power Absolute Super Duper Cat Infinity. Apple Infinity Power Green Shackfoot Infinity. Apple Infinity Cube. Apple Infinity Double Cubes. Apple Infinity Super Cubes. Absolute warning word.
Answering War Square. Answering War Tube.